Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Live stream. Boom. Let's get that link. Boom. Let's get that link, yo. Yo, Messi LAFC is already here. That's my king right there. Tap here. You know how it is. Just promoting the stream real quick. And then we finna gonna go. But how you doing today, boys? How we feeling? Today I'm gonna be telling you how you should be feeling, but you know. Am I live on TikTok too? Yeah, I'm live on TikTok. Let's go. Just making sure. We almost lost it for a min. Yeah, dude, Messi LAFC, it's crazy how you're always first on the live because you don't have Instagram, right? So you don't know when I'm you just know that I'm live at 5, which is how I want it to be. That's the whole point of me being consistent here. But, you know, I appreciate you for always being on time. Sometimes you're ready before I'm even ready. So shout out to you. I'm going to pull up the TikTok feed right now. And then we will be ready to go. And let me know, as always, if the stream is lagging. What's up, Jimmy, bro? How you doing? But let me know if there's anything lagging. Do I like Alphonso Davies in the chat? Of course I love Alphonso Davies. That's my GOAT right there. Well, not my GOAT. Jacob Schaffelberg is the GOAT. Red Bull fan is here as well. Yes, sir, man. We got Messi LAFC and Red Bull fan 47. You already know it's going to be a great stream today when that is the case. I'm going to hit record because I always forget to do that. So my producer doesn't hate me. And, I'm going to wait a couple more minutes, let a few more people get in, and then we will get started because we have a lot to talk about today. As you could see, I have tiers here, and I'll explain those tiers in just a second. You got Ultimate Team Red Bull fan. Good for you, man. Good for you, and I already see you with the likes. Also, hopefully today we don't have Wi-Fi issues. We found out that was just a house issue yesterday. Literally the second I got off live yesterday, the Wi-Fi in the whole house was gone, and I literally couldn't do anything for a couple of hours, and then I fixed it. But that's why the stream kept coming in and out. It has nothing to do with the fact that, has nothing to do with, me trying to play a video game, because we thought that's what it was. Hey, Sean is here, my guy. Good to see you. Okay, you know what? Sean's here. You only got 31 minutes? All right, yeah, let's get into it then. Hopefully we get to the Red Bulls in those 30 minutes. But anyways, today, oftentimes I am called, and I'm not trying to sound egotistical or anything, but oftentimes I am called the voice of MLS fans. So today's whole stream is talking about how you, as an MLS fan, should feel about your favorite club right now. And the way this is different than, let's say, the tier list I did a few weeks ago, I ranked every MLS team currently based on how good they are. This is more thinking of the long term. You could be a team that missed the playoffs this year, but if I think you're going to be back next year to the top, then you're going to be pretty good, at least, And if you're a team that may make the playoffs right now, but I'm worried about the future of, then I'm going to rank you low. So let's go over the tiers, and I might actually have to adjust this tier just for YouTube purposes. But you know what this word is. S-watch. If your team is down bad and you have no future and there's no way you're going to have a good future, I'm going to put you guys in S-watch. You already know which club's going in there. Also today, by the way, we're going to be ranking San Diego as well because I'm ranking based on the future. So that's a big thing. Voice of all of MLS. Hell yeah. With the Sigma. Am I a Sigma? We'll see. So I will be ranking San Diego today. Now, Time to Riot. Time to Riot is an interesting one because I feel like if you're in Time to Riot, that means you are down bad. But I think if you guys really make a push with your front office or anything, and you guys make a statement like the Galaxy did to get Chris Klein out, then you guys will be back. But it's time for you guys to do that rioting right now. Meh it's going to be the teams that are just kind of mid. Maybe some made the playoffs, maybe some didn't. Pretty good is obviously you're pretty good. Self-explanatory. Hella good is a song by No Doubt, and that is going to be our tier for that. And, it's obviously better than pretty good. And then instead of using a swear word here, we have the Sofa King Good. These are, you are feeling Sofa King Good. You could put that together. Anyways, before I rank it, I'm going to check the chat one more time. Need a San Jose watch tier? Well, isn't that what's blurred out with the S? Pretty sure that's San Jose tier. No. You're going to do your homework, but you like streaming, bro? Just do your homework and watch the stream. Eddie, what up? Good to see you guys. But yeah, I'm so glad to see all you guys, and it's going to go crazy. But yeah, everything should be fine today. If the stream isn't running well, let me know in the chat, and I'll answer it as quickly as possible. But I'm feeling pretty good. And a team that shouldn't be feeling pretty good, where we are going in alphabetical order, is Atlanta United. One of the... Hey, you're the best. Much love from Chicago. Thank you, man. Who I got, USA or Mexico? Probably Mexico today, but hopefully I'm wrong. I didn't do a preview video because I'll probably do a recap. I'm going to put the TikTok feed over there. Anyways, Atlanta United. What a fall from grace. And I've talked about this before. I think last time we did this whole thing about Atlanta United. But this team literally peaked in its second season and has quietly gone more and more downhill every single season since. Right? I mean, 2017 was their first year. They come in pretty hot. Then 2018, they go on and win the MLS Cup with Joseph Martinez and Miguel Almiron, the most beautiful duo. The little heart goal celebration. It was all vibes. It was all vibes. Miguel Almiron gets sold to Newcastle for a ton of money, which is great. And the club wants to find a new Miguel Almiron. So they go for Pity Martinez, who is ass. Then they go for Marcelino Moreno, who is ass. And then Thiago Almada was the replacement after that, and he was great for them. However, they sold him for not that much, and he didn't quite have the big growth that we expected Thiago Almada to have. And, this team's just been struggling ever since. And yeah, they have Moranchuk, the Russian guy now. He seems to be pretty good, but is he ever going to help the club reach that peak that they have? I don't know. For me, I think if you're an Atlanta United fan, I mean, we've already kind of seen part of it with, we've seen part of it already with the lower attendances this year. Fans are pissed off, and I think they should be. And we're going to talk about this more, but I believe that there is a big six in MLS. And Atlanta United are supposed to be in that big six. And because they aren't right now, it's time to riot. It's time to riot, Atlanta United fans. I'm not trying to incite violence or anything. I don't condone any violence. But, if you're an Atlanta United fan, it is time to riot. Austin FC, on the other hand, if this were 2 weeks ago, Pogba to LAFC rumors, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Hi, bro. Rank Toronto high. We'll see. I don't know if you guys should be feeling high about your team right now, to be honest. But Austin FC, if this were 2 weeks ago, when I was in Austin, I would say it's time to riot. However, what they wanted to riot about, which they were rioting about, they had a freaking bus going around the stadium saying, "Wolf out, Wolf out, Wolf out." Their head coach, Josh Wolf, Wolf out. And you know what? I gotta say, I mean, they got Wolf out. So the rioting is done. They're not on S Watch. They're not on S Watch, San Jose Watch. So they have to be above. They have to be meh, pretty good, hella good, Sofa King good. Austin FC to me. That's tough. That's a tough one because I'm not sure how confident I am in their future as of now. They got the cancer out, which is step one, but they haven't had enough time to do anything since. So if you're an Austin fan, I'd feel pretty meh. CF Montreal. It's crazy. They're going to be in the playoffs this year. CF Montreal, led by Bryce Duke, Joseph Martinez, an aging Joseph Martinez, not Atlanta United Joseph Martinez, my king Raheem Edwards, but Raheem Edwards, and not even Rudy Camacho. Joel Waterman, right? I don't understand how this CF Montreal side is in the playoffs. I mean, I got to be consistent here because I don't consider being a wild card team a playoff team. You have to win the wild card match to be a playoff team, so they haven't done that yet. I'm shocked that this team's doing as well as they are. Let's pull up CF Montreal stats. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna pull up a FIFA database because I love these. So FIFA. It's not to look at ratings and judge them based on ratings. It's just to look at the lineup because you could literally just look at this lineup here. How does it look for you guys? It doesn't look great for you guys on stream, especially on TikTok. But I'm gonna put that over there, anyways. And I mean, this team is a playoff team. Caden Clark is actually he's improved. I'm blown away that they're even in the conversation. For me, they're like a bottom 3 club in the league on paper. So good for them to be that high. I don't think it's time for them to riot, but I'm not impressed with this team at all. With who they have, some of the results they've had. I mean, they've been blown out pretty badly quite a few times. I'm gonna put them in meh. I would not put them in any of the top 3. They're not this down bad because they are there. There's nothing to write about. Maybe they should with the Salpudos and stuff. But I think that's fine. I'm going to check the chat real quick. What are you guys thinking? Finding his form again? Start twerking, bro. Ant. Chill! Just kidding. Well, you should chill, but love you, Ant. Ant is my boy. We love Ant. Actually, I'm going to have to put the TikTok chat here. Rate FC Dallas. I'll get there soon. We go in alphabetical order here. Yeah, that away jersey. I like their home kit. I like the blue home kit. I think that's a great jersey, but I also just love that shade of blue in general. And the badge is good. Charlotte FC, I'm actually going to put in hella good. I think Charlotte FC is in hella good, and I've talked about Charlotte FC extensively. Check out the clip that we posted from the stream last week that I posted yesterday, because that basically says everything I have to say about Charlotte FC. But to repeat it real quick, it's the fact that Charlotte FC went from missing the playoffs to a wildcard team to fully making the playoffs. They have a good squad. They have a good fan base. I would feel really good I would feel hella good. You got me feeling hella good, so I'll just keep on dancing. No, Charlotte FC. Go to hella good. I think you guys deserve it. Chicago Fire. This is actually, I've debated this one a lot in my head heading into this, right? I need a sip. And for those who think I don't have my cold brew today, we double fisting on Tuesdays because my voice is going to get used. All right. Let's get into it. Chicago. They really are the Trina Vega of MLS. Don't get any spotlight. Kind of get shat on. Or kind of get crapped on by everyone. And maybe sometimes it's deservedly so. However, so Chicago Fire recently, obviously they announced Greg Berhalter as their new head coach. And at first, you know, you being a USMNT fan, sometimes you'll be mad, you know, or I mean, being a USMNT fan, you hear the name Greg Berhalter and you want to go into hiding. However, Greg Berhalter is actually not a bad MLS coach, and he's not a bad recruiter. So I think Chicago fans are feeling pretty good in general about Greg Berhalter. However, they are perennially on S-Watch. They're perennially on S-Watch. They have made the playoffs once in the last 10 years. Berhalter might be here, but he hasn't done anything yet. Obviously, it's too soon. So until then, until they see any sort of improvement, until they see who he tries to sign, they have open DP spots. They still be on the S-Watch, and they'll be on the S-Watch until they're like a top 4 seed. Let's be real here. So Chicago Fire fans, I'm always here for you. Hit up my line, and we could talk things out. Friend to friend. Colorado Rapids. Where are the Rapids even in the standings? Because they fell down a little bit. I'm gonna keep that tab open just because I'd be doing that. Because they were up in the 3rd seed, but now they're like in the 4th or 5th seed. Maybe in the 6th seed? Yeah, they're the 6th seed, but I'd still, if you're a Colorado Rapid fan, I mean, you were bottom of the league last year, 2nd worst record in the league. You have the amazing offseason that you have, getting Georgie, getting Zach Steffen, getting Sam Vines and Cole Bassett back. Like, I'd still be pretty happy if I were a Colorado Rapid fan, especially just given who the Colorado Rapids are, really. I'm going to put them in hella good. Pretty good might be a stretch. Now, the Columbus Crew, I should put them in sofa king good. And I think I will, but I do want to talk about this rumor that's going around. It's the fact that Cucho Hernandez is apparently being sought after, which is like, duh, who wouldn't want Cucho Hernandez? But apparently Rayados, Monterrey, want to bolster their squad before the Club World Cup. And they want Cucho Hernandez, which is like, duh, obviously. That's like the best player to get right now. And he should win MVP. But that's just a light rumor that Matt Doyle posted. So I'm not going to think too much about it right now. But that is a thing. I haven't made a video on it yet because, I'd rather it be more of a thing before I freak everyone out. But the tweet's out from Matt Doyle. So that's a thing. If you're the Columbus Crew, heading into the playoffs, you got to be feeling sofa king good. They're the Crew. They've won MLS Cup. They won Leagues Cup. I would trust them pretty much over anyone in the playoffs. Their squad's amazing. Their coach is amazing. Their vibes are amazing. So, yeah. DC United, time to riot. They should be on S-Watch. But I need to see more out of this DC United fan base right now. You think about the start of MLS. And DC United won 3 out of the first 4 MLS Cups. Diego Echeverri, Jaime Moreno, Jeff Agus. This team was stacked. Eddie Pope. They had everyone and their mother. They were the club in MLS. They weren't just the best club. They were the club in MLS. And over time, they've just fallen off. They had a brief little, resurrection when Wayne Rooney was there and Lucho Acosta. That was pretty dope. But ever since then, they've just kept falling off, and I just don't see a future with this DC United club. Sure, they have Christian Benteke, but we've gone over this many times. Benteke, to me, can't carry a club. Looking at this DC United squad, and I hate to bring up the FIFA ratings again, it's just easy to look at visually. Okay, Bonesy, I'm never going to say anything about you, but this team doesn't have the talent that the rest of the league has. Pirani, potential. He's got potential. Do I think he's a top prospect in MLS? No, for me, they're just a bunch of mid, and that's why they are not making the playoffs this year. Who else do they have in their depth? They don't. And I think that's a big issue going forward for DC United, and this team's been so irrelevant for a long time, and I just feel like they need to find a way to re-spark that glory that they once had. As a Galaxy fan, as someone who was going through a phase where we thought we were falling off, we used our voices and we were able to get stuff done, and now our club is heading in the right direction again. And it's so funny because during that time when we were worried about everything, we were like, please do not let us become DC United. If you're the club that other clubs don't want to become, you need to riot. You should be on S-Watch, but I think it's time for a rising for DC United fans because this has gone on for way too long. FC Cincinnati. Do I put them? They're in the top 3, obviously. I put them in Sofa King Good. Sofa King Good. I'm not swearing, obviously. I'm not swearing, but let's check the chat. I'm pretty sure, isn't DC United already eliminated? Oh, they're okay. Well, they're okay. 8th seed, 40 points. I don't care, man. This team doesn't stack up against the rest of the East, and they're gonna lose in the first round. And I listen. It's tough love here. I'm providing tough love. Ricky Puig. Oh my God, LA Galaxy are headed in the right direction. Yeah, they are. What am I tripping about here? Clip this? Yeah, it'll probably get clipped. I'll tell Cheyenne about it. What's up, Owen, by the way? First time seeing you here. Body armor, solos, Moss Plus, and Prime. Duh. Obviously. All right. Anything else I should address in the chat? I'm sorry. If you're a DC United fan, even with being an 8th seed, I wouldn't be happy right now. I mean, sure, that's good for you guys, but the fact that that's good for you guys is a problem. FC Dallas. FC Dallas is crazy because they should be good. And I think health wasn't on their side this year. I think they do have great DPs. Is Paul Arriola still a DP? No, he's not. It's Velasco, it's Musa, and it's Ferreira. And I think that's a great trio going forward. You know, they're all still very young. So I think the future can still be bright for them. I think there's a lot to adjust. And, you know, FC Dallas has their stadium coming in. I'm waiting for their next big prospect, though. I know for a while they were producing the greatest homegrowns we had ever seen in MLS, and some didn't even remain in or make it to the first team. That's how good they were. You know, the Reggie Cannons, the Jesus Ferreiras, Cerrillos, the Weston McKennies and Chris Richards that didn't end up staying. Brian Reynolds, Justin Shea. I mean, they were pumping out guys like there's no tomorrow. We haven't seen a lot of that recently. I think their golden generation of their academy has passed, and that's okay. But FC Dallas going forward, I still have pretty decent hopes for them, and I overrated the heck out of them heading into the season. Wait, I got to pull up my preseason predictions because I had them going very far. MLS, I had FC Dallas as the 2 seed. God damn, that's how much faith I had in them. I would put them in pretty good. Their stadium's going to get upgraded. I think with Alan Velasco having a full, healthy season again, they are going to figure it out. They'll be a decent team. If out of all of the Western Conference teams that didn't make the playoffs, I think I might be the most confident in them to bounce back. Or, you know, St. Louis maybe. That's kind of how I'm feeling so far about them. In your opinion, Galaxy are one defender away from MLS Cup contenders? You don't even think they're MLS Cup contenders, though? I don't know about that. I think we are contenders, but maybe one defender away from winning it. That's a more reasonable argument, in my opinion. But Houston Dynamo. I like the Houston Dynamo. I think they have a decent squad. If I remember correctly, they're 4th now in the West, or 5th? Yeah, they're 5th in the West. They've had a nice rise as of late in both this season and just in the league in general, you know, winning the Open Cup last year, making it very far in the playoffs. They're a team with upset potential, and Galaxy play them on decision day, which I'm worried about in general. And then I'm worried about a potential second-round matchup against the Houston Dynamo. I think they have a chance to beat RSL or Seattle in the first round. You know, they have the experience now of going far in a playoff run. I'd feel pretty good if I were a Houston Dynamo fan. Is it weird that Dallas is on the same tier? You know what? Pretty good. I'm gonna keep them there. I think someone's gonna complain about that in the future, and I can't wait for me to have them refer to this exact moment on the stream for it. You should give McCarthy back. Hell nah. Nah. Inter Miami. Obviously, you should be feeling Sofa King good. And they're top of Sofa King good. Oh, wait. I didn't even talk about Cincinnati. I just put them on Sofa King good. Dude, actually, FC Cincinnati, actually, no, they should be feeling good. Because they've just had if we talk about a great rise from Charlotte, no club has ever had a greater rise in MLS than FC Cincinnati. If you think about it, they were they were not. If you think about it, they were wooden spoon for 3 years in a row. Coming up from USL, which I think was awesome, how they kept a lot of their squad, whatever. It didn't work out for them, but they tried it. They tried to honor their history, which is awesome. They opened TQL Stadium. They start spending more money. They draft right. They drafted Celentano, which is amazing. And last year they win the Supporter Shield, which was awesome for them. Lucho Acosta, MVP of the league, could win MVP 2 years in a row. That's a debate right now. They're up there in the conversation to win MLS Cup. And this year, I believe they've played very well against Miami and Columbus. Cincinnati versus Inter Miami. Yeah. In July, Cincinnati beat Inter Miami 6-1. That's good. That's really good. Sure, they lost 2-0. More recently, Cincinnati versus Columbus. They've come out on top in the Hell is Real Derby this year. So maybe in the past, and my boy Jay's been killing me on this, but Cincinnati could surprise people in the playoffs and maybe pull off an upset. They want that revenge on Columbus last year. They want to be the guys to take down Inter Miami, the Giants. So I'd feel Sofa King good. You know who I would also feel Sofa King good if I were a fan of the club, which I am. LA Galaxy. Yes, sir. I mean, of course I'd feel good right now if I were a Galaxy fan, because I am a Galaxy fan and I feel Sofa King good. I am the Sofa King. Right now. I mean, I've gone over this so much and I post about them maybe disproportionately to other clubs, so I understand. It's just, they're the club I watch the most, obviously. But to look at where we were at last year compared to this year, it's just unbelievable. 13th in the West last year to 1st in the West. And we have a chance to choke the first seed, but we also have a much better chance of actually clinching it on decision day, which I'm super ecstatic for. To finish above LAFC is just the cherry on top. It's just a little bonus. But this year was such a great year for the revitalization of MLS's most globally recognized club prior to last year. Because obviously Inter Miami now is, whatever. But Galaxy fans, listen, Sean, I know in the chat you think that the Galaxy are a defender away from being an MLS Cup contender. I think they're a defender away from being the MLS champion, because someone's gonna have to lock down Messi in the MLS Cup. But of course, I feel Sofa King good, and unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword here. Because if I were an LAFC fan, and God, I hope this doesn't get taken out of context, this clip. I hope it doesn't get clipped, and it's like, oh, Eli's an LAFC fan. No, I'm just honest here. People think I'm so biased against them. I don't feel that way, that I am that way, because I'm fair. And if I were an LAFC fan, I would put them here. Right up there with Galaxy and Miami. They're kind of ranked, but they're not ranked. I don't really care about the ranking on this one. Like Houston should be better than Dallas. But they're on a rise right now. They had a ton of matches to make up, and they're doing well on those. Obviously, they have the experience. They have the high-level talent. They're the only team in the West that truly scares me. Actually, I'm not sure about that, but they do scare me. I think there might be a couple other clubs I think have upset potential in the Galaxy, but LAFC beating Galaxy wouldn't necessarily be an upset. Yeah. I mean, it's LAFC. I don't want to glaze them too hard. You guys know how I feel about them on a personal level, but from a non-biased perspective, if you're an LAFC fan, you should feel very good about your club. And I think things might only get better for both LA clubs. And that's a thing. And this is something I might mention in a video tomorrow, so maybe Cheyenne don't clip this part, or maybe you do. But, as someone who grew up in LA, and as someone who also understands good marketing, who understands what really benefits things on a marketing perspective, it is Sofa King good that right now the Western Conference has LA1 and LA2. It's the best thing for the league. And I'm sorry if you're a fan of another Western Conference club, but to have the three biggest clubs in the league, yes, I'm going to say LAFC is up there, be top 3 in the league, in a sense, almost. It's the best thing imaginable to draw eyes to the league. Obviously, you got the big stars on all of those clubs. They're performing well. They're having great matchups against each other. To have both LA clubs and Miami be at the top of the league is the best thing for the league. And it's also the best thing for the El Tráfico rivalry. I think this was the best year of El Tráfico in a while because both clubs are at the top of their game. It just adds that extra layer of meaning to the derby. And, to have them be 1-2 right now is pretty remarkable. It's the first time that's happened, actually, in El Tráfico's history, at least at the end of the season. I think there's been, brief points where, whatever. It's good for the league, and I, as a Galaxy fan, obviously, I want LAFC to be last or whatever, but if I'm being real, it's the best possible scenario for the rivalry from a objective standpoint. All right, let's go on to another one. And then what you guys want about, one thing I want to talk about, the Big Six in MLS. And I'm just going to rearrange this real quick. Just add the Big Six in MLS. I believe in a perfect world for the league, there are 6 clubs that should be the biggest in MLS to have the league truly be able to market itself to the best of its ability just naturally, right? So obviously, I said the Galaxy and I said LAFC in the West. And there's got to be a third team in the West, right? And for me, it's got to be Seattle. Over the last decade, they've performed the best in MLS, objectively. No other teams won CONCACAF Champions Cup. No teams won 2 MLS Cups aside from the Columbus Crew in that period. No, that's correct. So these are the big 3. These are the big 3 in the West. Then in the East, Miami is now a big 3 club. Now here's where it gets tricky. Because technically, Columbus deserves that big 6 spot. So I'll put them there now. But eventually, I think Atlanta should be there marketing-wise. Toronto should be there marketing-wise. And NYCFC will be there marketing-wise in the future. That's just the facts. So in a perfect world for MLS, and I got to take the Crew out of here, and this isn't about sporting. This isn't about who's the best club. It's about who's the most massive in terms of audience drawing. It's going to be these 3, Miami, and 2 of these 3, depending on who's at the best. And that's, I'm going to talk about Toronto later because I have a lot to talk about with Toronto. But they're a club that has to be better than what they are now, especially of the way they've established themselves over the last 10 years in MLS. But we'll get to them when we get to them. NYCSC, sorry, I'm going to put them back in their places. Time to riot. Seattle. And if you disagree with that, that's totally cool. I understand. I'm just spitting facts right now. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. All right, now that little lecture is over, and if you disagree with the Big Six, what about the Union? They're not Big Six. That's, yeah. Chicago has to be there. They got to be there technically in market size, but they're just not. But NYCFC will absolutely be up there. I mean, yeah. And then the next tier, you think of the Big Six in the Prem, and then the next tier you got your West Hams and your Aston Villas and stuff. That will be like Columbus, Portland, Philly, whatever. But those are the Big Six. Minnesota! How far do I think Charlotte can go? It's not looking good because they'll probably have to play one of these 3 top teams in the first round. Sorry if I was yapping like a yaposaurus for a little while there. Yeah, Union is not Big Six. Fam, do Toronto. I will get to them when I get to them, brother. I swear I'm going in alphabetical order. Okay, Minnesota. I'd feel pretty good if I were a Minnesota United fan. They're making some changes. Let me pull up their I know FIFA, you're relying on FIFA. Timo Pukki's got to go. But Kelvin Yeboah has been great. I've been getting knocked on by Minnesota fans for underrating him. Robin Lod is the most underrated star in MLS. He's not seen as a star because he doesn't have the name value, but he puts up the numbers. He had a great year. Overall, I mean, this team is solid throughout, and I think they added a couple more guys. Pereira, they just added. He could be good in the future. Who else did they add? I don't know if they have anyone else here. But Minnesota, they should feel pretty good. They're also kind of meh at the same time, but at least they're, a playoff team, I believe. fact checking. Yeah, they're a 7th seed as of now. I mean, could fall if Vancouver wins their last match. I feel pretty good about them. Yeah. Okay. These next three are all going in time to riot for all different reasons. Nashville SC. I've talked about this before, and maybe we got to give BJ Callahan time. You know, that's my BJ right there. That's my boy. Killer guy. I love BJ. Callahan, he should be a good coach for them. But this team has just already reached its peak, which was the Leagues Cup final last year. At that point, they were a top seed in the East, battling Cincinnati for the Supporter Shield. Then they fell off a cliff. And this year was more of the same stuff. I finally got rid of Gary Smith, which is huge for them. Obviously, I mentioned BJ. But this team just needs a full-on rebuild right now. Keep Hani Mukhtar. Maybe keep Walker, because Walker's Walker. I got nothing but love and respect for Walker. Keep Schaff. Get rid of everyone else pretty much. Let's see. I don't want to be too harsh on players specifically unless they're the big name players. That's a rule of thumb for me. I really don't try to roast specific players other than people who I think are a-holes or big name players. They have pieces, but this overall, I mean, the system is just not working for them. Their fans have fallen off this year. I'm very tight with some Nashville fans. I love Nashville fans. Nashville SC fans, they've treated me so right. But we've seen a big drop in their attendance as well. And that maybe that is because of the way this club has been performing. I mean, listen, man, bottom of the East pretty much. It's not looking good for them. And I think they are overdue for some new blood in that roster. That's all I really got to say about them. And then the Revs, man, time to riot. Listen, if this team was healthy and they could prove them to themselves that they can stay healthy, I would put them in pretty good because they have a great roster. But man, the fall off of this club since whatever that Bruce Arena incident was, we still don't know. We have no idea. I don't want to know because I love Bruce and he was one of my heroes. I don't want to, think of my hero as anything less than a hero. But I mean, this team's fallen off a cliff. Carlos Gil's still Carlos Gil. They have great players, but they are just unable to put it together. Caleb Porter might be on his last lap as an MLS head coach. That might be a hot take. Also, actually, no, I'm going to take that back because MLS loves recycling. This team just hasn't figured it out. And they are a perennially cursed club. You know what? They are perennially cursed, like the Chicago Fire. It feels like there's no solution right now. So they're going on the S-Watch, actually. I'm going to lower them. We need more clubs on the S-Watch. If I were a Revs fan, man, I don't know what I'd do with myself. I've always had a soft spot for the Revs, too, and they know that. The Revs like me. I like the Revs. Some of my favorite players ever played for the Revs. Lee Win, my GOAT. It's tough. It's a tough watch right now, if I'm being honest. So I'd put them on the S-Watch. And that's that. Red Bulls, they're a playoff team, but they just don't feel like a playoff team. They're a playoff team with no aura, which is worse than being, a fun 15th seed. Playoff team with no aura, man. They're stuck in that middle purgatory right now. And I would be feeling pretty bad about the Red Bulls because we're looking here at the future of the club. And I don't see that bright of a future for the New York Red Bulls right now. And I've talked about this before. I've made videos on it. I talked about it on stream. And I just think what's happening with New York City right now, NYCFC, and their future ahead, it doesn't look good for the Red Bulls, and something needs to change. So I'm actually going to put you guys in time to riot because it's time to riot. Yes, Red Bull Insider. That's what I feel as well. You were waiting for me to mention this national team. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry for ruining your day. But I'm just speaking the truth. You know? Nothing I am saying here today is meant with any malice, any harm. I'm just spitting the facts. I'm giving you guys tough love, and I'm telling you guys how you should feel about your club. And I'm clearly being objective because look who's at the top here. I'm being objective as possible. If I was an NYCFC fan, I wouldn't feel so fucking good because I don't think y'all have a chance this year's playoffs. Oops. Y'all are going to hella good. You got me feeling hella good. All right. I would feel really good if I were an NYCFC fan right now for all the reasons that I mentioned for the Red Bulls. The future is so bright for you guys. I think, and as I mentioned with the Big Six stuff, they're going to solidify themselves as part of that Big Six. And then it's going to be Atlanta and Toronto that are going to have to fight for that last spot. But the way NYCFC have turned their season around, I mean, they were kind of mid, and now they're actually pretty decent. Martinez killing it. Santi Rodriguez killing it. I would feel really, really confident right now. If I were an NYCFC fan, they're about to have the nicest stadium I think we'll ever see in MLS. Obviously, that's not going to hold up because, you know, stadiums change and rearrange and all that. But they're going to have a nice stadium in New York City, which is so crucial. The one thing holding back this club has always been their stadium. And I think they're going to be the destination club like Inter Miami is, like the Galaxy and LAFC are. It's NYC. Listen, I love visiting NYCFC. I would hate to live there. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it is technically the number one market. LA is number two. But for soccer, or for MLS, LA is number one, obviously. But yeah, I would feel amazing if I were an NYCFC fan right now. Cold brew. We double fisting, boys. Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. No. Orlando City SC, man. It was crazy. They were amazing last year. Then at the start of the year, I hyped them up. On one podcast, I said they'd win MLS Cup. And then they were yes. And now they're amazing. They're really good. They're really damn good. Do I see their future being as bright? No. Because I don't know who they're... It's tough. I mean, their roster is great right now. But who's going to be there long term? Sorry, the coffee's making me gurgle a little bit. Falcao Torres is going to leave soon. He's going to leave soon. Martin Ojeda. He's been fine. I mean, he's been great. Galaxy, it's tough. I mean, their squad is very solid. But I'm just worried about who is going to leave this offseason, who's going to replace them. But I would still feel pretty good about them right now. Actually, now, if Charlotte's in hella good, Orlando's feeling hella good. Philly. That's a toughie. These guys have definitely stagnated like Nashville SC has, where they've reached the peak with this group. It's time to reload. I love Jim Curtin, so I'm not going to go out here and say fire Jim Curtin. I don't have that in me. I know I'm supposed to be objective here. I don't have that in me, but you could kind of allude to what I'm thinking here. El Tráfico or Cascadia? Well, I'm going Cascadia this weekend, so I'll let you know about that. In the city is crucial. That's what I'm saying. Do I have TikTok? Yes, bro. I'm on TikTok live right now. Oh, see you, Rebel fan. Sorry for trashing your club. It's all love, though. Have a good night, bro. Philly, though. Man, they had their chance. 2021 should have won MLS Cup. COVID got in the way. They lost to NYCFC in the playoffs. Then in 2022, made it all the way to MLS Cup. Lost because of freaking Bale. This year, it's not been good. And I really thought that this team would find a way to sneak their way in the playoffs. Where are they right now? They're not eliminated, technically. They're not eliminated. Actually, if they win and DC or Montreal lose, then they actually should make the playoffs because of goal differential. They have a positive goal differential, while DC and Montreal have -15 and -18. Oh, you gotta go. See you, Sean, bro. Have a good night. Anyways, back to Philly. I'm gonna say meh, but also like on the verge of time to riot. Because if it doesn't go well on decision day, it's time to riot. But maybe even you should riot. Making a wild card match when you've been an MLS Cup contender over like 4 of the last 5 years or something like that, maybe you should riot. But this is MLS. We don't riot until we've been down bad for a long time. If I'm a Philly fan, I'm feeling meh. If I'm a Portland Timbers fan, I'm feeling pretty good. They have a strong chance to upset whoever's the first seed. Assuming they beat, what's their faces, Minnesota. Assuming they beat Minnesota in this wild card match. Actually, they still have a chance to, or Vancouver, sorry. They still have a chance to get the 7th seed. We'll see. Based on goal differential. Portland, man, I mean, they've been one of the most fun teams to watch in MLS this year. You cannot deny that fact. And I think that's awesome for them, first of all. I mean, Evander, Jonathan Rodriguez, Felipe Mora, all just crushing it this year. I think they've all got like 14 goals plus or something really cool. Right now I'm worried about their maybe their chances this year aren't the best, but I think heading into next year, you have a lot to build off. I think that's the point I'm trying to get. This was only Phil Neville's first season at the helm for the Portland Timbers. And, while he doesn't have them as a high seed yet, there's a great product on the field that I think with just minor tweaks, this Portland Timbers side will be electric. I'm actually going to put them in hella good. They got me feeling hella good. All right. Before I get to RSL, so with the RSL, maybe it's just the media. I hate to be like, oh, it's the media's fault. Maybe it's just other people on media not talking about them as much anymore. But I have felt like RSL fallen off over the course of this season. Almost not as bad as Nashville did last year. But around Leagues Cup time, we all thought that Nashville was in this top 6. I thought it was 3 teams in the West and 3 teams in the East that could compete for MLS Cup. Now I only think there are 2 teams in the West. And that's an issue if you're an RSL fan. And this team is stacked still. They have great players. Chicho Arango, Diego Luna, Justin Glad. They're a great team. But this summer window hit them pretty hard, losing Andres Gomez. They did get players back in return. They haven't made that impact yet. So I'd feel pretty good about them. But I'm not feeling hella good about RSL anymore. I'm not feeling hella good. No, I'm not feeling hella good about RSL anymore. San Diego. I'm feeling hella good about San Diego. I mean, as a Galaxy fan, I'm not. But if I were a San Diego fan... Sorry. Cheyenne, do not clip this part. Sorry, it's like the wetness from my coffee cup, then wiping my face, and then the wetness gets on the face. It's not a great feeling. But what is a great feeling is being a San Diego FC fan. Y'all haven't experienced anything yet. And you might be wondering, oh, Eli, there's not many players on San Diego FC. How can you feel good about San Diego FC right now? They haven't even played yet. The way they're branding their club right now, aside from the actual brand visually, has been amazing. You get Chucky Lozano as your first big DP. Which, say what you want about the Mexican national team right now. Say what you want about Chucky Lozano right now. That is a massive get for MLS. They're starting the best academy we have ever seen in American soccer. The Right to Dream Academy will be right there, like a K through 12 school, I believe. Someone fact check me on that, but I believe it's like a full K through 12 private school academy And they're going to get a lot of fans being in San Diego. And as a Galaxy fan, I'm a little worried about, I don't think necessarily losing fans, current fans from the Galaxy, but losing potential new fans because of San Diego. And I think this club is going to come in, and they're going to come in hot, and Southern California is going to be the hotbed of soccer in the U.S. and in North America, I would say. And I think San Diego FC are going to be great from the jump. They're going to be one of those clubs. I don't see them as a Cincinnati. I don't see them as an Orlando who struggled for many years. I truly see them as an LAFC Atlanta type expansion club. Oops, wrong app. Let's check the chat though. There's a delay. Oh no, I'm reconnecting. No. Are we back? No reconnecting. No. How are we doing now? Are we doing okay now? Hopefully we're not dropping anyone anymore. Let me see. Oh, the audio is out of sync. That's tough. All right, we're just going to have to finish it off here. We had a good run today. We had a good run before we dropped off. But we're just going to go for it. Sorry to everyone viewing. But the show must go on. Yeah, the video's 3 seconds off. That's so annoying. I don't know how to fix that. That's the annoying part. Let me... Stream quality is good, my ass. My ass. All right, I'm just going to finish this off. We only have a few clubs. I mean, do I even need to say it? They are on San Jose watch. There is no future for the San Jose Earthquakes. I'm almost convinced that they will be the Las Vegas Earthquakes within the next 5 years. Think about it. Drew Fisher is their owner. He just moved the Oakland A's to Las Vegas. He's probably going to try to pull the same thing for San Jose. And maybe that's a good thing for him and his pockets and the club. But not for the fans. And I feel bad for the fans in that aspect. And they're a club that just feels like they haven't had, a happy ending in sight since like 2012 when they were really damn good. That 2012 San Jose Earthquakes team. I cannot tell you how scared I was of that club. They're so far removed from that. So far removed. So down bad this year. 14th. It's tough. It's tough, man. San Jose, need I say more? I just want to make sure we're still recording and everything. It says reconnecting. We're lagging on TikTok. I don't like this. All right, I think we're fine. It's tough. The delay, it's hurting the stream, I know. Yeah, I have a lot of LAFC fans in this chat. But yeah, San Jose, Seattle. And my producer is a Seattle fan, so I hear him yapping all the time. If I'm a Seattle fan, I'm meh. Bro, I understand that they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to be a high seed. But looking at the future of this core, I got to be careful what I say here. I'm about to visit Seattle and they're about to be very nice to me. Jordan Morris, moving forward, at least he's no longer a DP, so that's cool. But you look at this squad, a lot of it's they're beginning to age. And not in the right ways. And it's showing. Yet they've been very successful as of late. Some Seattle fans think that they're just munching off of, the weaker opponents. I think this team has the ability to go far in the playoffs this year. But next year? I don't know how much longer this club could grow. I don't know how much longer this core group can go. And they still have a lot of the core that was there throughout their successful years, at least of the Champions League a couple years ago, of the MLS Cup a few years ago, when they lost to Columbus. They still have most of those guys. And there just comes a time where you have to make that call. And you have to just let it go. And maybe the Sounders will prove me wrong, and I think they have the potential to prove me wrong. Maybe this weekend they'll prove me wrong. That's going to be a great match. And I do like... this club's just done so much over the last 10 years And I no longer feel like they are the dominant team they were over the last decade, and that maybe that's just natural. That's just a natural thing that's going to happen. But they're not as scary as they were just a couple years ago. And I think it's time that they start to filter in more new pieces, not just at the DP level, but throughout their squad. I mean, Pedro de la Vega, if he's healthy, I think this team has a great shot. In general next year to be a top team, if he's the guy we all think he is, which hopefully he will be for their sake. But yeah, Sporting KC, you go to S-Watch. Yeah. What did I think of the Railhawks? Legends. Reconnecting. Yep, I knew that was about to happen. Damn, we were doing so good. I mean, you're saying that the Sounders fall off needs to be studied, but they haven't quite fallen off yet. It feels like they've fallen off, but they haven't. Because, I mean, look at them. They're the 3rd seed in the West. They're only 5 points below LAFC right now. Yet, why am I speaking so negatively about them? I mean, I think that just shows just the general vibe around them right now. But, they're still a 3rd seed. But I'm feeling meh about them. I'm feeling meh about their future. St. Louis, man. What a jump from being top dog in their first year to missing the playoffs. You got to cut them some slack because they are a new club still. Whether you want to admit it or not, sure, they had a successful year. They're still a newer club. So I'm going to give them that. But I'd be feeling pretty good heading into next year. Marcel Hartel looks to be a smash signing for them. They could get Joao Klaus back. I mean, Simon Becher has been an incredible underrated signing for them. Roman Berkey's still probably a top 1 or 2 goalkeeper in the league. Leuven had some issues this year, just personal issues outside. Pray for his family and everything. Nilsson, hopefully he could be better. I think St. Louis fans should feel pretty good about next year. Toronto, y'all need to be in the Big Six conversation. Y'all need to be a big boy club. BBC. Y'all got to be a big boy club. Sorry, just making this. Where's St. Louis? Who are you? Good to see you, Soccer Tommy, my boy. I love Soccer Tommy. Meeting him in person made my day. GOAT. Toronto FC, though, it's time to riot. I made that video about Bernadeschi, and yeah, I get it. Y'all like Bernadeschi. He had a good year, but that whole project has completely failed. Insigne is the one who really has to go, but they feel like a package deal. They both got to go. This club needs a cultural reset, which they tried to start this year, but you have to still get rid of the guys causing part of the problems. John Herdman, I think, actually can be really good for them going forward, and I think he should stay. I mean, obviously he only had 1 year in charge. I'm not going to judge him too harshly on 1 year. But John Herdman, or this Toronto FC side in general, I need to see way more improvement out of. There's no excuse. I mean, we talk about Seattle of how they've established themselves over the last 10 years. Toronto feels the same way. They made MLS Cup 3 times. They've had big stars. They've been a top team in this league. They've competed for supporter shields. They've won trebles. There's no excuse for them to miss the playoffs like this 2 years in a row, especially with the payroll that they always have. It's frustrating if you're a Toronto fan, and I empathize with you guys there, or sympathize, whatever that is. I always get those mixed up. Anyways, Toronto FC, you guys are a Big Six club in MLS. There's no excuse for you guys to be in the position you guys are in, so it's time to riot. Vancouver, I'm feeling pretty good about. They have a good team, good squad, good everything. I think they're pretty good. I think, there's an argument of should changes be made, and that's the thing. They're kind of in that weird middle ground where I don't necessarily think that sorry, I'm reading the chat, so it's just very tough when they're not a contender, but they're also not bad, and maybe that should cause for some changes. They have a good squad. They have a good culture. They have a good vibe. I would just feel pretty. I'm gonna put them in meh right now with Seattle. I can't put. Yeah, that's it. So this is the tier list, guys. Here, let me lower it on TikTok so you guys could see it a little better. That's it. That's actually it for our stream today. I hope you guys enjoyed. We had great viewership throughout the whole thing. Yeah, it's only an hour today, but that's fine.